From the early days of radio to the golden age of MTV, certain songs captured the hearts of millions. Yet, beneath the surface, many of these hits faced an unexpected fate. They were banned from the airwaves. In this countdown, we'll explore 25 iconic tracks that were silenced, many for reasons that may surprise you. Stick around for the last few entries, where the stories become even more unexpected and unbelievable. Each entry concludes with the real reason these songs vanished, revealing a side of music history that hardly anyone knows. Number 25. Louie Louie by the Kingsmen, a song that oozed raw energy and excitement in 1963. Imagine the thrill of tuning in to hear that iconic, slinky intro as the band's raucous studio performance filled your living room. The track quickly became a staple of garage bands, captivating listeners with its catchy allure and murky lyrics. But the FBI launched a 2-year investigation into the song, fearing it contained lewd content that was corrupting youth. After scrutinizing the lyrics, officials had to concede that the song was unintelligible. Still, the controversy surrounding Louie Louie ensured it remained off airwaves for a stretch, and that scrutiny pushed the track to the forefront of conversations about censorship in music. Number 24. My Generation by The Who, a definitive anthem that defined rebellion and youth culture in 1965. The moment you heard that stuttered, FFF fade away, it felt like a clarion call to the youth of the world. The raw power of the instrumentation and Pete Townshend's driving vocals resonated with a generation. Yet, when the BBC came across it, they deemed that stutter too controversial, thinking it encouraged antisocial behavior. Ironically, the very thing that made it iconic led to its ban from the very station that was supposed to broadcast the rebellious spirit of the time. Number 23. A Day in the Life by the Beatles, the pinnacle of psychedelic rock released in 1967. That haunting orchestral crescendo, paired with lyrics that dive deep into existential reflection, resonated profoundly with a counterculture yearning for change. Critics lauded it for its artistic depth and sonic experimentation. However, many radio stations dropped it after concerns emerged about drug references, most notably in the line, "Found my way upstairs and had a smoke." The song's deep exploration of life and loss might still echo through the halls of history, but its potential for influencing youth led to bans that unfortunately curtailed its widespread acceptance in that era. Number 22. Splish Splash by Bobby Darin, a delightful romp through the joys of summer, released in 1958. The playful lyrics and buoyant melody painted vivid images of a lively pool party, captivating listeners immersed in the carefree spirit of the era. However, in an age where pre-clearance from record labels became critical, Darin's track hit some walls. Certain stations deemed it too frivolous, feeling it undermined the mood of serious music discussions. The laughter and fun didn't match their stringent airwaves, leading to a string of bans even before many listeners could enjoy it. The song's inherent charm fell victim to a rigid radio landscape longing for higher art. Number 21. Cherry Pie by Warrant, a power ballad that saturated 1990. Its unforgettable chorus and rebellious spirit reverberated through car radios, bringing joy to headbanging fans everywhere. But radio-friendly soon turned to unwelcome as complaints arose about the overtly sexual lyrics that painted tainted images of young love. The moral scrutiny of songs began to rage when discussions flared in churches and everywhere, claiming that songs like Cherry Pie were corrupting youth. This controversy led to swift bans from several radio stations under the guise of morality, burying a chart topper that, despite its popularity, proved to be difficult to embrace. The next one was in half the living rooms in America, and it still died. Number 20. I Want Your Back by the Jackson 5, a monumental hit that burst onto the scene in 1969. The infectious beat and youthful exuberance of Michael Jackson's voice made it an instant classic. Families everywhere found joy in dancing to Motown's irresistible sound. However, the backlash against the over-commercialization of music in the late 60s had some radio stations reconsidering what they deemed acceptable. Some felt the track promoted notions of relationship obsession. As a result, bans on its playtime emerged under concerns that its lowbrow, poppy fluff didn't echo the depth the audiences desired to hear in music at the time. Number 19. Good Times by Chic, a disco masterpiece from 1979 that changed the dance floor forever. The thumping bass and lush strings created an atmosphere of shimmering nightlife, inviting listeners to revel in the grooves. But when the American radio landscape began to shift, the burgeoning backlash against disco came with it. Radio stations framed the song as excessively commercialized dance music. The sweeping drive behind disco's growing popularity saw many tracks, including Good Times, face bans simply due to changing musical tastes and a disapproval of disco culture evolving rapidly at that time. Number 18. The Police, by NWA, a raw, unapologetic critique of police brutality released in 1988. This explicit anthem encapsulated the frustrations of marginalized communities, propelling it into the spotlight as a powerful cultural statement. However, its incendiary lyrics ignited a firestorm of outrage, leading to pressure and bans from multiple radio stations and law enforcement. Station managers feared backlash and legal repercussions, pushing the Police off the air. The aggression permeated a significant societal commentary but led ultimately to the silencing of voices that needed to be heard the most. Number 17. Let's Get It On, by Marvin Gaye, a sultry classic from 1973 that encapsulated romance with mesmerizing vocals and smooth instrumentals. The air in the room practically shimmered with seduction as the unmistakable melodies enveloped listeners. But, in an era where explicit content was scrutinized heavily, some radio stations opted for silence, concerned about its passionate overtones. As the moral climate of music shifted, bans arose as they grappled with what was deemed too suggestive for evening airplay. The longing that the track expressed became muted, and its sensuality fell prey to the growing regulations of the time. The next one received standing ovations, and still fell flat on the airwaves. Number 16. Muskrat Love by America, an unassuming love song released in 1973 that wormed its way into hearts. Its soft melodies and whimsical lyrics conjured cozy scenes of love between muskrats, as if they were our secret, furry friends. But, shockingly, many radio stations considered it too quirky and kitschy, and in the wake of their concerns regarding focus on more conventional love themes, this whimsical hit faced bans. The charm of the muskrats couldn't rescue it from the prejudice of determined programmers who frowned on its eccentricity, thus sending it to the proverbial musical graveyard. Number 15. The Joker by Steve Miller Band, a laid-back anthem from 1973, it immersed listeners in a cocoon of easygoing vibes and carefree lyrics. This playful hit felt like a lazy summer day, inviting sing-alongs and smiles. Yet the enigmatic phrase, the Joker, the Smoker, and the Midnight Tokayer caught the attention of radio executives worried about its potential implications. Fears of promoting drug culture kept many stations from airing it. Through a delicate web of interpretations, this playful track faced a ban, denied the airplay it deserved, and ultimately lost its spot in the hearts of some audiences due to undue caution. Number 14. You Light Up My Life, by Debbie Boone, a ballad released in 1977 that captivated listeners with its heartfelt lyrics and stirring melody. The vocal warmth enveloped you like a hug on a chilly day, becoming a staple in countless living rooms. But as critics labeled it cheesy and overly sentimental, its perspective came under scrutiny. Bans emerged, due to the sanctimonious questioning of emotional songs' sincerity. Some radio managers believed it spoiled the airwaves with excess charm, leading the track to be shunned at a time when rawer sounds were beginning to dominate, and Boone's emotional delivery became more of a liability than an asset. The next entry was a defining moment in a career, and a swift decline followed. Number 13. Physical, by Olivia Newton-John, released in 1981, this catchy tune powered through radios with its upbeat rhythms and suggestive lyrics. Its playful approach to romance made it irresistible to listeners, instantly becoming a staple on dance floors. Yet, despite its popularity, some stations chose to ban it due to the growing concern about its overt sexual overtones. The exploration of desire drew a sharp divide, with many feeling it didn't align with the changing moral compass. Its catchy chorus became a prison, essentially trapping the song against its will, denied the breathing room that could have propelled it even further during an era of music open to exploration. Number 12. In the Midnight Hour, by Wilson Pickett, a classic soul hit from 1965 that sent chills down your spine, its driving rhythm and passionate vocals gripping at the essence of longing. Each note felt electric, inviting listeners to lose themselves in its groove. However, the lyrical content sparked controversy, leading to bans in several conservative regions. Detractors claimed it ignited too much raw passion for the radio waves, fearing it might stir all sorts of emotions in listeners. A song that had the potential to unite was sometimes used to divide, leaving it sidelined by sterile airwaves clamoring for conformity over creativity. Number 11. Light My Fire, by The Doors, a psychedelic anthem from 1967 that encapsulated a generation's yearning for freedom and exploration. Its haunting organ riffs and Jim Morrison's sultry vocals smashed barriers, taking listeners on a musical odyssey. Yet, as the song gained traction, many radio stations attempted to edit out parts they deemed too explicit or salacious. When the word light began to symbolize deeper connotations in the psychedelic and hippie movement, some stations dropped it in fear of what it represented. Billed as too infatuated with taboo notions, this iconic track fell victim to the very tensions that made it a culture-defining moment. The next one sparked an entire genre's rise, only to see its momentum stripped. Number 10. Teenage Wasteland, by The Who, an anthem of youthful angst released in 1971, its raw energy combined with thought-provoking lyrics made it a rallying cry for disenchanted youth. The raucous guitar riffs birthed an entire movement, drawing listeners in with its rebellious spirit. Yet, with the growing tension between emerging youth culture and older generations, radio bans restricted its airplay. Critics argued that its themes of empty existence promoted apathy or rebellion. The collapse of a movement echoed loudly across many stations as the song faced bans not based on quality but rather on misplaced fears about its disruptive potential. Number 9. Another Brick in the Wall, by Pink Floyd, a controversial narrative on educational systems that was a burning sensation in 1982. The powerful chorus calling for revolution resonated with students who questioned authority and conformity. But the call for rebellion led to significant pushback from radio executives who feared promoting dissent and rebellion. Consequently, across several stations, bans resulted from the uproar as decision-makers worried they were helping incite a pro-rebellion mindset among youth. The irony of a track rallying around the transformative power of ideas being silenced reinforced the struggle of artistic expression in the face of fear. Number 8. Cold as Ice, by Foreigner, a rock staple from 1977 that blended powerful instrumentals with soulful vocals. The catchy chorus and driving melody attracted millions, yet it fell under scrutiny when some radio programmers expressed discomfort over its lyrics' portrayal of relationships. Critics worried the assertiveness might send the wrong message. Thus, many stations began to restrict its airplay, leading to a sudden dip in its outreach. This ban highlighted the struggles with musical representation at the time, wherein lyrical content often dictated whether music could flourish on open frequencies. The next one caught the imagination of an entire generation, yet found itself swiftly silenced. Number 7. Back in the USSR, by the Beatles, a blend of rock and roll with a surf vibe, representing a playful irony about the Cold War in 1968. It conjured images of fun and adventure, vibrating through speakers and captivating audiences. Alas, the mere mention of the Soviet state sparked backlash, leading some conservative stations to reject its playtime. Critics claimed it echoed an unwarranted romanticism about an enemy nation while failing to see it simply as a clever satire. The attempted gags became serious enough to result in bans that left some fans disillusioned at how quickly the fun could be lost and overshadowed by perceived offenses. Number 6. Jumpin' Jack Flash, by the Rolling Stones, an explosive rock tune released in 1968 that captured audiences with its furious energy and memorable guitar riffs. Listeners were drawn in by its devil-may-care attitude and hard-hitting rhythm, embodying everything rock and roll represented. But as pushback against the counterculture grew stronger, stations began pulling Jumpin' Jack Flash in an act to restrain what many viewed as the glorification of rebellion. This moral policing caught the tune in crossfire, rendering it increasingly absent from rotating playlists, as misconceptions about the message festered in the atmosphere. The next entry is a celebration of the best of rhythms, but faced a sudden shift. Number 5. Rock and Roll, by Led Zeppelin, a sonic powerhouse launched in 1971 that transformed rock music forever. Its thrilling guitar solos and thumping beats provoked frenzy among fans, igniting concert floors everywhere. Despite its explosive appeal, the song faced numerous bans due to accusations of promoting a culture of debauchery and excess. Fears about the wild lifestyle associated with rock and roll led certain stations to impose restrictions amid societal backlash against music that embodied this vibrant and free-spirited culture. What served as a spirit-lifting anthem morphed into a cautionary tale, draped in the shadows of misunderstanding. Number 4. Dancing in the Dark, by Bruce Springsteen, a catchy anthem from 1984 that filled dance floors with its brilliant blend of pop and rock. The song vibrated with a yearning energy that connected deeply with audiences, inviting both dance and reflection. But amidst its vibrant reception, detractors viewed its sensuality and themes of desire as too overt. Various radio stations issued bans, arguing it played into tropes that diminished serious artistry for the sake of commercial success. Mired in the tension between critical acclaim and commercial appeal, Springsteen's emotional clarion call became yet another song muted by claimants clinging to their fears about content. The next one broke records, only to be cast aside. Number 3. American Pie, by Don McLean, a sweeping ballad that lyrically navigated history, nostalgia, and loss when it hit the charts in 1971. Its poetic storytelling captured the cultural zeitgeist and resonated deeply with those longing for the past. But, ironically, as it climbed the charts, some radio stations began implementing bans for its lengthy duration and complex narrative structure. Executives feared the song could undermine standard playlist formats, leading to listeners tuning out. What started as a cultural phenomenon faced the pressures of commercial time slots, ultimately pushing this poignant piece into the periphery of radio play. Number 2. Shout by the Isley Brothers, an electrifying anthem capturing the spirit of soul music in 1959. Its unmistakable energy ignited dance floors and stirred audiences to express their emotions. Yet, despite its raucous charm, the sheer emotional weight it carried caused hesitation among many listeners. The calls for fervent shouts resonated with fervor, but amid conversations regarding decorum, several stations opted for silence due to concerns the song would incite rowdiness among listeners. Caught in a public relations battle on all fronts, Shout faced the irony of being silenced by its very call to action. And finally, number 1. I Am Woman, by Helen Reddy, released in 1971, this iconic anthem of female empowerment charged its way through airwaves fueled by a message of strength and inequality. Its fervent call galvanized women everywhere, serving as a dramatic backdrop to the burgeoning feminist movement. However, its very power began to invoke fear. Reactionaries deemed it too contentious for airplay. Fear of provoking social unrest or backlash led many stations to ban it, marking it not only as a loss in airplay but also a poignant reminder of censorship in the face of societal change. In examining these songs, we see a common thread of fear of rebellion, fear of change, and fear of the unknown. As these tunes reminded us of our existence, they were muted with the echoes of that resistance.